Hi, it's Chinlu from Our Next Make. In this video, I'll be showing you how I used SOLIDWORKS xDesign to design our outdoor snowflake decoration. I'll be showing you how to use patterns and equations and some keyboard shortcuts along the way. To get started, let's take a look at how a snowflake is structured. A snowflake has 6 legs, and on each leg, there's a symmetrical half. So to begin with that, let's start with a sketch. We're going to try to create our version of the half pattern. We'll start with the line tool, creating one line connected with the second line. To end the line segments, we will press Escape. Now, shift selecting both lines and converting them to construction lines. With the dimension tool, I can set up the 60 degree, which is a sixth of 360 degrees. This will give me an accurate reference for my pattern. Now I'm going to start with a circle on the ends of my legs and spurs. As I enter this circle, you notice the second circle has a pink dotted reference line. This allows me to snap to them and make all 3 circles equal to each other. So when I dimension one, all of them will follow. Now with the line tool again, I'm going to finish making some of these shapes on the legs. As you see, I have lots of pink reference lines and the letter H for horizontal and V for vertical to make sure that I am getting what I need as I draw the lines. Again, Escape ends my segments. Now I'm trying to see if I have a tangent connection. Selecting the circle and the line allows me to actually force the tangency. And I'm going to create the spurs now. L for line is a shortcut key showing on the tooltip. And as I create these lines, I can end the connection by pressing Escape, and then now selecting both lines, I will turn them into construction lines. I will also make them parallel so that they have a pleasant pattern. Now with dimensioning, I can quickly define the size of my leg. In this case, I want to measure out to the outermost edge, so clicking on that white dot allows me to dimension right to the outside of that circle instead of the center. I'm going to enter the rest of the values so that I can get my pattern lined up properly for our piece of wood. I'm creating the shape of the spurs coming off of the main leg, again using L to turn on the line, Escape to turn off the continuous segments. I'll do that for both of my legs. I'm taking time to make sure that when I begin a line and end a line, I'm catching a coincident mark. That's what the little pink circle is. Now I can go back and make sure that all those connections with the circle are tangent. Now, if I switch over to the dimension using the keyboard shortcut D, I can start laying out some of the angles between the spurs and the main leg. You notice as I make these dimensions, before I click again to place them, it's actually following my cursor as I drag around. Once you place them, you can drag them out away from the center of the arrows. So there are a few things you can do to properly position your dimensions. As I continue to dimension, my main goal is to turn all of the blue lines black, which means they will be properly defined. Any blue lines left, by wiggling, I can see that it is not properly constrained. Doing a Command Z or Control Z can undo what I just dragged, and now with a few parallel constraints between those spurs, you see that all the lines are fully constrained. Now I can go ahead and trim away unnecessary lines to then form these solid shapes in blue. This solid blue shape ensures that I have no errors as I move ahead and make this 3D. Here I'm trying to close off the last spur with the angle that's created. I just want to make sure that the line and the circle are coincident and clean before I trim off everything and make sure that it's airtight. There, the solid blue is covering all of my shape. Now that I'm done, let's come out of the sketch and save my file. I can also make sure that it's all on the same plane by middle mouse click and dragging and rotating. Now if I go into extrude and click on that shape, you'll see that it's actually adding an object to the profile. What I really want is the sketch, because I will be adding equations later that will impact the sketch, and I need it to reference the sketch, not the object. I can replace that list with the sketch, or I can come into my sketch originally and access the extrude directly without coming out of the sketch. Here you see that the sketch is referenced immediately. As you rotate, if you rotate on the geometry, it actually catches the edge and rotates about it, which is very convenient. In the mirror command, we just have to select the plane that we want to mirror about, and our half design is now full leg. Let's go into the circular pattern. Under the pattern menu, you can choose circular pattern. After selecting the object, I need to now rotate around an axis. So let's turn on the origin so I can see the x-axis, which is what I want to rotate about, and fit using an F key. Going to turn on pattern angle, which allows me to pattern around the full 360. And if I change the number of instances to 6, it will now give me exactly what I want. So let's actually make this more dynamic. Let's go back to the sketch. In here, if I take away the 60 degrees that I had originally set up, but let's focus on half of this pattern, which is the 30 degrees to the main vertical. If I press equal, I get into an equation mode where I can actually roll back to the circular pattern. In here, I can find the 360 and the instance count, where I can create a proper equation to represent the angle. But depending on the number of instances, it will change the actual angle. So let's go into the circular pattern and check. If I change this to a 7, it does accommodate it and change that lower spur to adjust and fit. Here in 5, you see that it adjusts and is connected. Now in 10, it does as well, but if you look at the upper spur, it's interfering. So let's try to use an equation to clean this up. When you're in the edit mode of this value, press equal. You get into the equation mode again. Here I'm using an equation that makes a fraction of the 6 instances to the variable 10 here. By using that fraction, I multiply it with the existing length of 5. And then within the equation, I'm using an integer, so making it without any units. So at the end, I have to multiply it 1 inch back. Coming out of this now, checking the circular pattern, you'll see that if I change it to 12, it will adjust and the top spur will adjust as well. 5, 6, 9, they all adjust accordingly. So that's great. I've used 2 equations to make all the shapes fit properly and not interfere. And I've shown you that you can also use some pretty cool pattern tools and quick keyboard shortcuts. So hopefully you've learned something here. Have fun when you try xDesign for yourself. And if you do anything cool, please share it with us. And good luck, and I will see you on our next make.